Android 15 for OnePlus devices is here with the public release of Oxygen OS 15. Yes, the stable release is rolling out right now. Here's what's new and some of the top new features you need to know. Before then, why don't you subscribe to the channel to get more information on all things Android, including updates from all of the vendors out there that we think you need to know about. Hit subscribe, join the crew, and become part of a growing movement. A little bit of bad news first though, as not every single feature is available immediately in Oxygen OS 15 for OnePlus 12 devices. Some of the upcoming AI functionality is still missing in this particular build. These are likely to arrive in potentially updates down the line and maybe increased as things start to ramp up. But we've been testing this to give you an idea of what to expect, and tune in to the end to see what AI features are going to be coming to your OnePlus 12 device. So with that out of the way, let's get into some of the changes. I think while most people will never open or close every app on their home screen, OnePlus has done some under the hood and some visual changes to improve how this operating system runs. So one of the major things that you may have heard about is improving animations when opening and closing applications. It's hard to actually tell when you open and close apps quickly, but lots of people appear to be passionate about this. The OnePlus 12 was already very capable as it was, but it's worth noting this does make your phone feel a little bit faster and smoother, something that OnePlus has been known for in the past. You might also notice some neat shimmering effects when plugging your phone into charge or even unlocking it. There's even a new halo fingerprint animation, which I think does showcase this shimmer effect quite nicely, as long as that charge as well. Some of the pre-installed home screen widgets have gained some updated fonts and complications. Overall, it's just nice added touches that OnePlus is really making actual paying attention to more things within Oxygen OS and by extension Color OS. Some of the colour itself has been drained from the settings section with a monotone theme, which is a bit of a throwback to older versions of Oxygen OS, which was closer to that you'd find on Pixel phones. However, it's worth noting that the OnePlus stock app collection is now brighter and more vibrant right out of the box. The icon customization now includes an option called Radiance, and there's a shadow option which joins that old classic material menu if you want something different for yourself. The dynamic color icon support is getting renamed as well. You'll see this as a toggle under the custom section as adopt system colors, but overall it feels a little bit more vibrant as a result. OnePlus also claims that the new system installation is even smaller than it was previously. On my own test device, it's still showing at about 23 gigabytes, but the actual system size is under 8 gigabytes, so that's under control, and that's a pretty big decrease as far as I'm concerned. Caches and other logs on the device itself account for around 16 gigabytes, so read into that what you will. Hopefully that's something that you can clear if you do need to access storage at a later date. If you happen to use that quick access shelf section, I know this is a popular addition to Oxygen OS period. In Oxygen OS 15, you get a few more choices for your quick widget selection. You can do things like resize these to 1x2, 2x2, or even 4x4, which is pretty darn big. And this offers a lot more information at a glance and extra utility, as you can create a layout that maximizes all of that data on your screen. OnePlus has also added some larger layouts to account for these as well with existing widgets. While these apps actually aren't available in many places, OnePlus has also confirmed that Zomato and Blinkit widgets are being fully integrated here as well. One of the biggest changes here in Android 15 on OnePlus phones is a quick access control center is getting completely changed and getting some extra attention in Oxygen OS 15. It now can be split into two distinct access panels, which seems eerily familiar to how things are done on iOS, another thing that they've seemingly mimicked. This lets you swipe from the top right of your screen to access the control center if you wish, and swiping from the top left will open the notification shade. If you swipe left or right when one of these are open, it'll also quickly move between these two sections, which I do think is a nice touch, but you can also revert to the traditional method if you do want that as well. Another feature stolen directly from the dynamic island on the iPhone is the live alert feature here in Oxygen OS 15, and this expands the area around that punch hole notch to bring in widgets and quick access floating panels. The downside is that not really many applications beyond a few default system options actually support this section, at least right now. You can do things like track a timer, see screen recording settings and personal hotspot data from here as it is. If multiple applications are available, you can swipe between these to switch or dismiss. You should be able to use this with media applications installed on your phone, but it doesn't really appear to work with YouTube Music right now. When using the inbuilt screen recorder, you can do things like quickly tap that live alert floating control to end a recording or save it to your device and tap to check the current status and the stats. At best, I think this is a time saver. At worst, it's a huge iOS gimmick that's just been ported to Android. There's also another neat way to improve the OxygenOS lock screen this year with Flux themes. This is kind of like how iOS added some customization to the lock screen of its own, but taken up a few extra notches. You can use the option to add images and text that will dynamically change when you do interact with it or unlock your phone. You can also add basic widgets like step count or key information, including weather conditions. It's not truly extensive, but there are neat options like the ability to add blur or even glass effects to your photos that you've chosen. The animation style is also taken into account so you can have a more seamless experience with your personalized choices here. The Open Canvas feature was initially limited to the OnePlus Open, the foldable phone out there that you may have picked up, but this is now coming, or this floating window management feature is now coming to slab phones with OxygenOS 15. And this just enhances the split screen mode by letting you do things like drag and drop between open applications. For instance, you can do things like drag an image from the Photos app into Notes and therefore attach it in line. You're also able to make split screen ratios a lot greater if you wish to open an application or have an application mini or shrunk, would it be, without that secondary application closing. The private save mode is also now letting you save content into unique folders if you want to separate those all-important secret files when you need access to them later. Previously, this feature was basically just containing all of these within one huge folder, so this is a really nice addition to help you get organized, especially with those files and everything else that you might need hidden from other people's eyes. One neat new feature coming with the OxygenOS 15 update is the ability to charge to 80%. This has existed previously, but now this will kick in if your phone has been plugged in for a long period of time. Say for instance, you've left it on a slow charger overnight. It will actually hit that 80% limit to protect the battery. I do think this is a nice addition. I really think that a lot more OEMs out there should offer something like this. You can toggle it in the settings if you wish, which I have done here as you can see on camera, but there are options to leave this. It will automatically kick in. As I noted, it's another nice addition here in OxygenOS 15. OnePlus has also understood that when you access the recent apps menu, you might want some more clues as to which application you've come from so that you need to know, or at least you'll know where to go next. When you launch into the recents or multitasking menu, the last app that you've opened will shift off to the right side of the screen to indicate that you're leaving that application and leave it in status in the background. The navigation icons also show you just where you are in relation to that application. I do think this is a really nice touch, as it just means you get into that multitasking option a little bit faster and get into the apps that you need from the application you've been in. Sadly though, one of the most pointless new features in OxygenOS 15 as far as I'm concerned is the share with iPhone option. In principle, I do think this is really great. In practice, it requires anyone with an iPhone to download the O+ Connect application and open it every single time you want to send or receive a file. I do think there are better burdenless or burden-free services out there where you can do basically the same, because technically you're creating a mini hotspot and sending it over that connection. In that respect, I do think it's a colossal waste of time unless you want to send huge files, in which case it might be something to do if you have a lot of people, a lot of friends out there who use iPhones and you're that sole OnePlus user in your group. If you happen to lose your phone and it's powered off, it can be a huge hassle and great difficulty it can be to locate it again. OnePlus is adding support for offline tracking of your OnePlus 12. We're not actually sure if it's going to come to other devices with that Find My Device function. It isn't a silver bullet for finding lost devices, as it'll only work for around 24 hours after your device powers down. That might though be enough time to track out where it's been and its last location and help you get it back. So it's a nice addition here in OxygenOS 15. Although this isn't directly tied to OxygenOS 15, I think the theft protection mode is a really nice option that is, when it is enabled on your phone, adds extra security controls if that worst or the worst happens and someone happens to snatch your phone. This will be available in settings. You just go over and find theft protection, enable that, and there's a lot of extra controls that you can dive into and keep your phone safe if it does eventually or sadly get taken from you. So although this isn't technically available right now, the popular circle to search feature is coming with a future OxygenOS 15 update, so it would be remiss of me not to mention it. For now, as I mentioned, it's not available. You probably have a good idea how this works. When it is available, you'll be able to long press a gesture bar and you can draw or perform a visual search. I think it's super simple and I'm really excited to see this on more phones out there. Back when OxygenOS 14 launched, if you can remember that, we didn't see a ton of AI functions or features touted by OnePlus, but that has massively changed this year with OxygenOS 15. It has a ton of AI functions touted Sadly though, they're not bundled in with this initial stable release. We are expecting them to come in future. As I noted, they vary from image editing tools to ways to improve your writing or even quick replies. As of this public release, none of these are currently available, but they do include things like AI Unblur, which works very much like the photo unblur function on Pixel phones and sharpens your photos if they're a bit blurry or if there's moving subjects in them. There's the AI Reflection Eraser, which reduces the glare and reflection on glass or other surfaces without distorting the image. This is one I'm really looking forward to trying out myself. The AI Detail Boost, and this will work by upscaling photos to around 4K resolution while hopefully retaining the overall image quality. There is a pass scanner function, and this allows you to take pictures of things like paper e-tickets or boarding passes and quickly add them to Google Wallet itself for quick access. The AI Notes function, when it is enabled, will allow you to use functions like writing cleanup, auto formatting, and abilities to expand that writing with specific context and all of that kind of thing. AI Reply works by offering contextual replies to messages that you can tailor based upon the tone you want to take, and it does remind me of Gemini in Google Messages. The intelligent search function is one I'm looking forward to the most, and this builds upon the global device search with contextual file searching for any of your on-device content. And I know somebody else online mentioned that this is a little bit like Pixel screenshots, but supersized or super souped up to its maximum level, and I do think that probably is a really good way to potentially describe this. It's also worth noting that Gemini will be the assistant by default on Oxygen OS 15, with Gemini Live also included. So, as I noted, the stable rollout has already started earlier than expected for the OnePlus 12, and we'll delve into more of these AI features as they arrive to determine which are worth the salt and which are just wasted space. So let me know down in the comment sections below if you do want to see a video diving into Oxygen OS 15 AI functionality. I want to ask you though, what do you think about Oxygen OS so far, given the previous previews and all that kind of thing? The official rollout, as I said, is started for the OnePlus 12. There's no information on other actual devices, at least at this stage, but it is earlier than expected, so hopefully we'll see more devices very, very soon. So let me know what you think down in the comment sections below. I want to say a big thank you and a big shout out to our channel members on screen now. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.